Hi, I am Demetria Hill and welcome to my video. So in this video, I will talk about my infograph, and the country that I selected is Australia. And the reason why I selected Australia is I did a um, quick view of a world map, and Australia stood out to me right away. This is a country that I've always wanted to visit one day, and I had a coworker that was from Australia, and he always talked very fondly about Australia and how beautiful it was. And I also would like to one day see the Sydney Opera House and kangaroos in their natural habitat. I love Outback Steakhouse, and it always talks about from being down under. Now, I'm not sure if the food is really like that in Australia, but one day maybe I'll find out. So, in my comparison, I selected 4 different parts of the country that I want to talk about today. Um, I thought it was really neat to see the Australian money, so I included that at the top of my project. And the first economic evaluation that I selected is unemployment. So unemployment, I think, gives a good view of how the country is really doing. I think it shows you how well things are going and gives you an idea if they're at their potential GDP. So January 2023 and March 2023, unemployment was at 3.5%. In January 2024 to March 2024, unemployment increased to 3.9%. So although it was a slight increase, unemployment had gone as high as 7.5% during COVID. So I really think this country, like most countries, took a huge hit during COVID, and as they're making a comeback economically, that there are some fluctuations. The second economic indicator that I looked at is inflation. So inflation rate in 2023 was at 7% in the first quarter, but it decreased when you compare the first quarter for 2024. So that was a 3.4% decrease in inflation. And from what I've learned in our macroeconomics class, inflation, and from what I've understand in our microeconomics class, inflation has a huge effect on how much people spend, what they buy, maybe even for housing. Inflation has a huge effect on what people buy. Um, and to me, it could really either increase spending or decrease spending depending on the inflation. And from what I've learned, so I think a drop in inflation would increase the spending and help the country as a whole get closer to their targeted potential GDP. The third um, indicator that I took a look at was gross domestic product, so the GDP. So in 2023, the GDP was at $1.74 trillion. There is a projected increase of 1.8%, where the GDP should go up to $1.77 trillion. So it might not sound like a big increase, but that particular amount of money is really having more jobs, produce more products, and having more items. So with the GDP increase of 1.77 trillion, it's an estimated 1.8 increase to the GDP. And as we learned in macroeconomics, when the GDP increases, even though the growth is slow and steady, but when the GDP increases, it increases the quality of life. And so then the fourth economic indicator that I looked at was population growth. So the population growth between 2023 and 2024 is estimated to be just 1%, but there is also an estimated growth of over 21,000 people. I was curious about this because I wanted to know if people are migrating in or out of Australia. I think that's a good indicator of how the economy is doing and if people want to live there because it's a comfortable country or country where people can prosper. So I think whether people are moving in or out of the country, and also families are thriving and having children. So I think a population growth is a good indicator. So overall, um, the economy of Australia is strong. It is a strong economy. It is a positive growth. Um, as brought out in the May 2024 Bloomberg article, Australia will remain at a um, steady inflation of 3%, which is the targeted rate. So keeping that at 3% will have very positive effects on the economy. And I think it'll give the economy to continue to recover from COVID and grow. In my opinion, I think all countries have needed many years to really recuperate from the economic strain that was brought on during COVID. If I was part of the economic advisors for the government, I would select the neoclassic um, method of the economy because of its flexibility. Um, I don't think that we've ever seen any economy just continue to grow up and up and up and never go back down. So for that reason, I would select the neoclassic economy. Um, I think even for Australia now, the inflation is low, so then you'll see jobs go up and unemployment go down. You'll see wages go up. But once it goes so far past its potential, then you'll see it needing to come back down again. So I think that's where that flexibility comes in, where it kind of levels out. If a economy was just to continue to grow and be more and more higher in inflation, um, I think it would create a bad effect overall because everything would just be too expensive and too high. So to keep that nice, comfortable uh, level for citizens and for employees and employers, I think it needs the flexibility. And that is the end of my evaluation for the economy in Australia. Thank you.